y'all. So May 5th through the 7th, Mark and I spent the weekend in Jersey because Mobility Works invited us to join them along to the Ability Expo, and we had an absolutely amazing time. But before we tell you about our experience, I shot some perspective footage of me walking around the expo, so we're going to play that. Enjoy! Back from the Ability Expo in support of Mobility Works, which Mobility Works, they accommodated my car with hand controls, a 360 steering knob, an extension for the turn signal, and made me an accommodated seat. And we went and, yes, the push-pull brake.
The seat.
The seat is everything, though. The seat is the game changer for me. It's the one thing that guaranteed that I would actually be able to see the road properly versus a booster seat and a pillow, so it actually changed the whole way I drive entirely. We went in support of Mobility Works because they accommodated my car, and we wanted to give back in some sense because I think it's extremely important for the disability community and the non-disability community to go to these things and know about these things. Growing up, we had no education on the fact that these kind of events even existed, let alone that they could be so beneficial to having that independence in my life much earlier than we did.
Interesting thing about this Abilities Expo, unlike other things that I've been to, these aren't like competitors.
No.
I mean, it's really interesting. Mobility Works asked us to go there, and we were more than happy to because they're fantastic people. But then we got there and we saw not only what other things are offered in that community, but that they all support each other, and if you need something and they don't have it, they will tell you where to go.
A lot of the disability community that was actually shocking to me also is how much they do have to lean on each other and work together. It's not really much about look over here at us. It's more like, if you're not the right fit for us, here's the resources for where you can go. And that's the thing about Mobility Works is they have all those resources for all those places. So before talking to Mobility Works, we had no way to access those resources.
Yeah, because one of the things that we found out quickly was that it was really difficult to find out where to go to get things for Shauna. Mm-hmm. That there wasn't a person to ask or a website or all this stuff. In fact, Bill from Mobility Works, Bill Jenkins, if you want to talk to somebody that knows this stuff. Mm-hmm. But he actually wants to put a page together that would list all the resources that you could go to. If you're in the disability community, no matter what your disability is. And it would be like going to this Abilities Expo. I mean, they got to see the stuff, but you could go on this page and go, oh, I need this, and they click on that, and now you're on their web page. And I think that would help because, growing up, I didn't know anything about that, that stuff. We didn't need any accommodations. And the thing is that when Shauna was growing up, we didn't know what her situation was going to be. And then when her situation happened, we were in Philadelphia at the time, and we just didn't know where to go. And people didn't. You ask somebody and they don't know. And that's the thing that I want to implore on people is that it's so important to educate yourself on the disability community. I mean, even if you're not affected currently by a family member or friend or yourself, one day you could be. And a lot of people, as we get older, our bodies just deteriorate. They deteriorate, and we end up either on scooters or on motor wheelchairs, and you don't want to ever be in that situation where you lose your independence because you have the lack of education behind the situation. Yeah, most of the time people only find out about stuff when they need it. Well, and the thing is that sometimes you might not even know you need it. Like Tara. Tara drives so very far close up, the steering wheel is like buried in her belly. And the thing is that if she had a seat like Shauna has a seat.
Even a shorter one or a smaller one.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be as tall as Shauna, but the thing is that the seat that Shauna has is so stable that it's like a seat. So it's not like sitting on phone books or on a booster seat.
And
with
it allows you
under.
to be comfortable while driving, which is super important because if you're high tense when you're driving, you're more likely to get into an accident.
Right.
But
or if you're turning, and your seat's moving, and you're trying to tighten your butt so you don't slide off the seat. That's going to get exhausting after a while. The seat is a very important thing.
But either way, it's super important to still educate yourself on a situation that could happen to you, a loved one, a friend, a family member. Anyone in your life could be affected at any second. A lot of people that were at the Disability Expo that I met that actually came for the meet and greet or just saw me and started wanting to talk to me because they actually knew who I was, their disability happened overnight for them. And they had no education on where to go. So they found one outlet and they ran with it and it got them where they could be today. But it took everyone years. It's like you have to jump through so many hoops for it. And it shouldn't be that way. So you should educate yourself earlier than possible. I think the Ability Expo was an absolute success. And I think that we had an amazing time meeting everyone. I know I had lots of personal interactions. I know he even got personal interactions from being on the TV show and having fans there. And also, we've learned so much about that goes into the disability community because we didn't even know there were so many resources.
And honestly, we're hoping that, and we're kind of discussing it a little bit, that we can go to more expos around the country. And hopefully, if we can go to those, and people can meet Shauna, people can meet me. Maybe I'll draw a caricature of you. But the thing is that if people that might not be in need of something right now, they can come and take a look and learn about it. And honestly, I think people should, because it's not only is it amazing what they can do, but like I was a runner when I grew up. My legs were always the strongest part of my body, and last year my left knee went out. It's bone on bone. At some point I'm going to need a knee replacement, but I'm walking around with a cane now. And when we go somewhere for a long time, I use a scooter. And the thing is that never thought about that before. I needed it. And the thing is that even with her, she turned 16, and we didn't know where to send her for lessons, for driving lessons.
Yeah.
We moved to the island, and honestly, we only found one person that could teach her on this whole island. And the thing is that I think we need more education on this stuff. I think that everybody needs to know about this stuff, and
I think it's
also be where it's not as
taboo. Yeah, I think it's extremely important to educate yourself on the situation, therefore to prepare yourself, therefore to raise awareness, and also loosen the hearsay on disability and what's okay and what's not okay, because you're not going to know unless you ask. And there's nothing wrong with questions. There's only wrong with the way you ask them.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting the knowledge, then no one's going to diss you for trying to educate yourself.
What when you're around people that need these kind of accommodations, what you realize is they are just like everybody else, and they just are trying to find a way to get around like everybody else, to do the things that everybody else can do. And the thing is that I think that if we all know about that, then there won't be doofuses that park in the handicap spots.
There'll be respect.
Yeah, there'll be respect. There'll be empathy.
Understanding.
There'll be knowledge, and then it won't be a stigma or taboo, or something other than. They're just people like everybody else that just need accommodations.
Increase the awareness and increase the equality.
Decrease the hassle
and the hate. But again, we are so grateful to Mobility Works for inviting us along the Ability Expo, and we hope everyone has an amazing day.
We had a fantastic time. We anybody that's watching this that we met, It was a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure meeting everyone. The pretzels were amazing. Every interaction was amazing. Getting chased outside of the expo was amazing.
The only drawback is no funnel cakes there. They need a place to sell funnel cakes.
But either way, we are so grateful to Mobility Works for inviting us to the Abilities Expo and hopefully looking forward to more in the future.
Yes.
And anyone and everyone should check them out, whether you're in the disability community or not. It is important to educate yourself. Bye!
It's Shauna Rae.